here in the next 15 minutes or so. We're going to also talk about the big COVID news of the day, which includes new CDC travel guidelines that will be good news for people who are waiting to get on an airplane and want to go somewhere. We'll go ahead and update the latest CDC guidelines. And we're going to also be talking about the Final Four, which is Saturday night here in downtown Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. Who is the most fashionable team of the four teams that are left? Carlos Diaz has got a really fun story that we want to play for you tonight. That's all coming up on this 10 o'clock version of Facebook Live. But this has really been a tragic day for our country. You've probably been following the news all day. This incident that took place out in front of the U.S. Capitol today. A U.S. Capitol police officer was killed today when a suspect rammed into a concrete barrier and lunged at officers with a knife. I want to go ahead and put up the picture of the suspect who has ties to Indiana. This is 25-year-old Noah Green. Again, he's got ties to Indiana, but we understand he had been living on the East Coast recently. And Hallie Jackson tells us what we know currently about the suspect and this case.
For the second time in less than 3 months, a U.S. Capitol police officer has died in the line of duty. Officer William Evans had been with the department for 18 years. Investigators say he and another officer were hit by a car, the driver ramming into them and then a barricade at a security checkpoint outside the Capitol. The Capitol Police acting chief says the suspect, identified as 25-year-old Noah Green of Indiana, then jumped out of the car with a knife.
The suspect did start lunging toward U.S. Capitol Police officers, at which time U.S. Capitol Police officers fired upon the suspect.
That suspect pronounced dead at the hospital. Investigators say he was not known to the Capitol Police. They're searching for a motive. Congress is in recess, so lawmakers were not here. The acting chief of D.C. Metropolitan Police says the threat appears to have passed, and a lockdown at the Capitol was lifted after roughly 2 hours.
At this time, it does not appear to be an ongoing threat. Obviously, we're in the very early stages of our investigation.
Coming so soon after the January 6th siege, when an angry mob stormed the Capitol, killing one officer. The incident is a devastating blow to the beleaguered Capitol Police Department.
So I ask that you keep our U.S. Capitol Police family in your thoughts and prayers.
A burst of violence underscoring the ongoing risk to this building and the men and women sworn to protect it. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Yeah, such a tragic day for our nation, losing this Capitol Police officer. Our Emily Longnecker is going to continue our coverage of this tragic story and this tragic day in the nation's capital. She's going to be tracking down to find out what we know about this Indiana man who carried out this attack on that officer. So we'll be joining you tonight with her report on 13 News at 11 o'clock. All right, let's give you the latest COVID news and bring in Angela to talk about this. I think this was one of the bigger stories that we've seen in terms of COVID-related news, when the CDC, which has been coming out, occasionally with new guidance, came out today with some new travel guidance saying if you are a fully vaccinated person, in other words, if you're 2 weeks beyond your Pfizer or Moderna shot, or if you are 2 weeks out from your Johnson & Johnson shot, you can now travel domestically. You can get on an airplane and go and travel where you want at low risk. In other words, you don't have to be tested prior to getting on that plane. And when you get off the plane, you don't have to be tested. And when you come back, you don't have to be quarantined. This is big news, not only for the travel and the airline industry, but I think just Americans who are eager to get back on planes, and if they are getting vaccinated, there ought to be an incentive for those people, so long as they continue social distancing, wearing masks, and according to the CDC, staying away from large gatherings, Angela.
Yeah, and I think even some changes to international travel. Now, obviously, if you're traveling to a country that requires a negative COVID test to get in, or a vaccine, or whatever, you still have to follow their rules. But coming back into the United States, changes to that from the CDC as well for fully vaccinated people. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if those that were kind of, oh, I don't think I'm going to get the vaccine, but now seeing that perhaps that travel opens up, if that's something they've been wanting and waiting to do, just to make it easier, if that will perhaps inspire more folks to go ahead and get vaccinated.
Right. And I think the other thing, you mentioned the international travel. So, for instance, if you were going to travel to Europe and then come back, the CDC is asking you to get a negative test prior to coming back. But when you get off the plane, you're back here in Indiana, you don't have to quarantine. So the CDC making these adjustments based on looking at the science, looking at the data, seeing how people are doing after being on an airplane. So this is big news in terms of people who want to travel. So we'll be talking about this coming up on 13 News at 11. And of course, basketball is going to be a big focus this weekend here, isn't it, this weekend?
Lots of basketball. Pacers are playing now. We're probably getting ready to wrap up their 8 o'clock game. High school basketball finals at Bankers Life, and of course the Final Four.
I know. Can't wait.
Basketball.
I know. You're going to have to work really hard to avoid basketball this weekend if you are here in downtown Indianapolis. And so the games are set. So both games are Saturday night at Lucas Oil Stadium. The first game will be Houston against Baylor. That'll be an interesting game, the battle of the Lone Star State. And then, of course, you've got Gonzaga, the top team in the tournament, playing the Cinderella team, UCLA, which has been upsetting lots of different teams. And so while, a lot of brackets have been busted because of all the upsets that we've seen here during March Madness here in Indy, our Carlos Diaz decided to look at a fun and unique way of trying to pick the winner. Here's his story.
Ben Diallo, the owner and, of course, designer for J. Vinsel Menswear. I want to get your takes for the 13 Sunrise Fashionable 4 in a second. But first, I want to get your take on these short shorts, the uniforms. They're tighter than they've ever been in the past. What's the deal with that?
Well, that's right in line with men's fashion right now. 10 years ago, men's suits were just coming off that baggy, oversized look. And now you see that same tailor look with men's college basketball uniform. The fitted look is definitely here to stay.
So let's get right to our 13 Sunrise Fashionable 4. These picks are strictly based on who you think looks better. Baylor versus Houston, who advances?
Well, as you can see, Houston uniform is very basic, the red and white. 2 playing for me, I'm going to give the nod to Baylor green and gold jersey. I mean, come on, it's springtime, and nothing says spring like green growth and golden sunshine. Very appropriate for the season.
Gonzaga, the #1 seed, taking on the Cinderella story in this year's tournament, UCLA. With your fashion sense, who advances?
Well, as a fashion designer, I love the Cinderella style, but I have a grip about UCLA uniforms. Back when they were winning the 11th championship decades ago, they were wearing the lighter powder blue uniform. I love those much more than the dark, almost royal blue jersey now. Then you got Gonzaga school colors, which are officially red, white, and navy blue. It doesn't get more all-American than that. I like how tasteful, clean their uniform looks, so they are my pick to advance.
So the fashion finals are all set. Baylor taking on Gonzaga. Let's settle this one on the sidelines. Who do you think the better dressed coach is?
Well, I'm a fashion designer specializing in Italian suits, so I miss the days when coaches actually wore nice suit on the sideline. Here we have Scott Drew and Mark Few. They're both business casual in their school gears, but since Scott is an Indiana guy, I give Baylor the edge in the coaching fashion department.
We all know in the fashion world, brand logos are very important. So let's crown the champion. Who has the better logo?
Well, I love the Baylor logo. It's elegant, simple, with smooth line, and one good-looking bear. You look at Gonzaga Bulldogs, which looks a little bit too cartoonish to my taste. And besides, we all know that the best Bulldog logos of all sports belong to my alma mater, the Butler Bulldog.
So it looks like the Baylor Bears are the champs in the first annual 13 Sunrise Fashionable 4. Ben Diallo, I can't thank you enough. You're the man.
Thank you, Carlos. Don't forget, it's not how great you do, it's how great you look doing it.
It's pretty funny.
He's awesome. How good you look doing it.
That's right. All right. So, you know what, if you remember a couple of weeks ago when we were starting to put the brackets together before the Indianapolis bubble was created for basketball, we put together the bracket here at Channel 13. I picked Ohio State. Didn't do so well. Angela, who did you pick?
I have Gonzaga and Baylor.
And look
in my
at
final
you.
two.
Your final two were still hanging out. You still
hanging on.
You still feeling like that's the way it's going to end up there on Monday night?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Houston's a little dangerous. UCLA's a little squirrely, but I think I'm going to be okay.
Okay. And in terms of the fashionable four, I mean, do you have a favorite uniform, mascot, anything after seeing Carlos's story?
Purdue Pete's not that bad, but
Well, yeah.
he didn't make the Final Four.
Right.
I'm also a fan of the Butler Bulldog, also not
Yeah.
the Final Four. But,
Yeah.
but I get what he was saying.
Yeah.
Baylor, it's a little more classy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I like the UCLA look. I think Gonzaga is going to win it, though. Their team looks just amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that come Monday night, we're going to be looking back and saying Angela knew it first. She called it
We'll
and picked the champion. All right. In terms of weather, we got a nice looking weekend, don't we?
We have a great looking weekend. Still a little cool today. We actually managed 49, so so close to 50, and it was nice to have the sunshine back. And we're going to add several degrees to each day moving forward. So that means your Saturday forecast, we have sunshine. You will need a jacket or a sweatshirt early in the day, 31, but then a 20-degree jump from 8 a.m. to noon. Sunshine really helping things out tomorrow. So we'll be in the low 50s at noon, and then afternoon temperatures in the low 60s. And then we are still forecasting close to 70 degrees on Easter Sunday. So I know lots of plans were just completely ruined last year with the lockdown and everything that was going on. So I have a feeling there will be a few more Easter celebrations. And we had one of our sweet viewers wishing us both and our families a very blessed Easter.
I love it.
And to have an extra Reese bunny.
Yeah, we talked about that last night.
We thank you so much. And look what I brought.
Did you bring one in?
I did, because
Angela.
no one knew. Everyone, well, you thought I was talking about cigarettes.
Well, you said pick up a pack of six. And I thought you said six.
These come in a pack of 6.
Right.
But they didn't have any when I stopped today. But these are the individual ones that I was telling you about that are a little bigger than the minis.
Yeah, they look great. I'm a big fan of Reese's.
I got one for you.
You are so
and
sweet.
one for Janae.
Oh, thank you so much.
My advice is to put them in the freezer
Right.
because they taste even better. And I think you'll find I was talking to a friend, it's the chocolate peanut butter ratio that makes the big ones better. And then as I was checking out, I didn't even know they made an egg version.
Oh, wow.
I know. So I'm going to give this to you too.
Wow.
So you can try it and let us know
You know, I'm
if it's any good.
going to have to get a lot more than 10,000 steps this weekend. Got to burn those off. But thank you. That's awfully sweet of you. All right, so here's some of the other comments that we're getting on Facebook tonight. Cindy says, I'd like to see Baylor win. She doesn't want Gonzaga to beat IU's undefeated record. Because IU, remember?
I can see that.
Yeah, they were undefeated.
I can see that.
Teresa's saying, I love them in the freezer, referring to those Reese's.
Yep.
So there you go.
Best.
And let's see who else is joining us tonight. Denise is the one who said, coming from Springfield, have a great Easter weekend. And Kim saying, happy Good Friday. Great to see you. Dan joining us, saying hi, Angela and Scott. And Barb saying blessings for the fallen officer's family, which is something that we're all thinking about tonight. Terry joining us from Plainfield tonight. And so we just want to thank all of our Facebook friends for joining us and reminding everybody that we're going to be with you tonight. 13 News at 11. Angela will have the 7-day forecast. That way, make your outdoor plans because, we're going to be eating Reese's and then getting in some steps this weekend.
You might have to fight Janae for this one because she already thanked me for her candy.
Oh, nice. Very good. All right,
Happy Easter,
Angela,
Janae.
great to be with you. And we will see you all on 13 News at 11. Have a great Friday night.